Good wishes to you, dear students. This module deals with typology of culture. An organic classification of culture has never been effectuated. We shall here refer to only the most common ones briefly, because it is impossible to reduce them to the lowest common denominator. The first division is between pre-literate and literate cultures. Cultural anthropology divides culture into pre-literate and literate. The pre-literate cultures are those to which script is lacking. The literate culture subdivided into various subtypes, for example, iconic and non-iconic, according to whether the script used imitates the represented object or not, and ancient and modern, depending on whether time is taken into account cultures with or without print, etc. These distinctions are found in reality and can be useful to comparative study of cultures of the same type. The second division is between traditional and urban cultures. Sociologists and anthropologists divide cultures into traditional and urban. The traditional culture refers to a social group that is not very numerous. Its members have scarce and rare contact with strangers. Its culture is homogeneous. The members are unified by bonds that are often very extended. The technology is relatively simple and its economic exchanges are limited. The community is governed by tradition. The highly urban culture is essentially the opposite. The third division is between peasant and citizen. Spengler divides culture into peasant and citizen. The difference is notable and has come to be used by anthropologists. Peasant culture is the one that develops itself in the country in an essentially rural society. The peasant community remains relatively simpler and more homogeneous. Citizen culture is the one that develops itself in the great urban centers. The fourth is between popular and official. During the last decades, the division is between popular and official. In popular culture, one also encounters simplicity, spontaneity, sentiment, fantasy, just as in the peasant and traditional cultures. The official culture is also called cult culture. The official or cult culture leaves little room for fantasy and sentiment and subjects everything to the control of reason, like the urban and citizen cultures. Therefore, this culture is poorer in both rites and myths and is less favorable to religious manifestations. The fifth is scientific and humanistic cultures. Heated, debatable discussion is between scientific and humanistic. Humanistic culture gives preference to the humanistic disciplines, that is philosophy, art, literature, history, etc. Scientific culture assigns priority to the scientific disciplines, that is mathematics, physics, mechanics, astronomy, medicine, etc. In certain nations, the scientific culture has strongly accented disregarding the humanistic disciplines. But culture cannot be anything except humanistic, be it inasmuch as its end, that is man, or inasmuch as its means, that are humanistic disciplines, philosophy and history. Scientific culture can only be an auxiliary and an ally of humanistic culture, assisting, promoting and completing it. The next is secular and religious cultures. One more important division of culture is these secular and religious cultures. Secular culture wishes to exclude from any religious expression and wishes that culture always be modeled on the criterion of secularization. Religious culture includes religion. Until the French Revolution and even after, Practically all societies had a religious culture. Only the modern Western nations have made themselves promoters of an official secular culture. Then comes material and ideological cultures. The other important division, thus, is between material and ideological. The material culture refers to the base structure, the career structure of society, which is economic. The attention of Marxist scholars is completely turned towards the material culture. The ideological culture refers to the superstructure that includes politics, art, religion, philosophy, law, etc. And the final one is a cautioning note. All the divisions we have treated are ambivalent. They are descriptive, phenomenological, scientific sense, and axiomatic and valuative sense. In the first case, they are very useful in that they designate effectively existent cultures and study in an ordered fashion the cultures, morphology, properties, laws, and values. In the second sense, they are extremely dangerous in that they favor preconceptions and lend themselves to ideological abuse and give room for unjustified discrimination, arbitrary preferences, and injurious conflicts. Thanks for listening to this lecture.